David has finally been crowned King of all Israel. The celebration is over, the crown is on his head, and the people are united. But there is no honeymoon period for God's anointed. The moment the Philistines hear the news, they don't send a congratulatory gift. They mobilize their entire army to hunt him down. Chapter 14 isn't just about a king getting settled, it's about a king under immediate siege, and the two specific questions he asks that save a nation. David's journey from shepherd to king was finally complete. He was now king over all Israel, ruling from Jerusalem, the city he had captured and made his capital. The nation united to anoint him, fulfilling God's promise from his youth. David recognized his authority came from God, not from his own strength. His reign was built on this spiritual foundation. Neighboring nations took notice. Hiram, king of Tyre, sent cedar, craftsmen, and masons to build David a palace, signaling international respect. David's household grew, symbolizing stability and God's blessing. His expanding family and kingdom showed that God's promise was being fulfilled. David's rise was not just political, it was a sign that God's chosen leader was now firmly established. The city of Jerusalem became the heart of Israel's new era. David's fame spread, but he remained aware that his success was for God's people, not his own glory. Every decision he made reflected his role as God's instrument. The stage was set for a new chapter in Israel's story. David's reign began with unity, blessing, and a deep sense of divine purpose. As David's kingdom flourished, the Philistines returned, threatened by Israel's new unity. They marched into the Valley of Rephaim, determined to crush David's reign before it could begin. This was David's first major test as king. Instead of relying on his military skill, David turned to God for guidance. He asked, "Shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hand?" David didn't assume God's blessing. He sought it. His humility set him apart from other leaders. David knew victory without God meant nothing. By pausing to seek God's will, he placed the fate of his kingdom in God's hands. This act of faith defined his leadership. David's power made him more dependent on God, not less. He waited for God's command before making a move. The future of Israel would be decided by obedience, not by force. God answered David, "Go up, for I will deliver them into your hand." With this promise, David led his army into battle. The victory was swift and overwhelming. The Philistines fled in chaos, abandoning everything. David gave all credit to God, naming the place Baal Perazim, the Lord of the breakthrough. He saw God's intervention as a flood breaking through a dam, unstoppable and decisive. The Philistines even left behind their idols, a sign of total defeat. David ordered the idols destroyed, declaring the supremacy of Israel's God. This victory was more than military. It was a demonstration of God's power. The people saw that their true strength came from the Lord. David's obedience brought deliverance and set a new standard for leadership. Israel's enemies learned to fear the God who fought for his people. The Philistines returned, undeterred by defeat, to challenge David again. David didn't rely on past success. He sought God's guidance anew. This time God gave a different strategy. Circle behind them and wait by the mulberry trees. The sign would be the sound of marching in the treetops, God's signal to attack. David obeyed, launching his assault at the exact moment God indicated. The result was another crushing victory, as Israel pursued the Philistines far from their land. David's willingness to listen and adapt showed his dependence on God, not on formulas. Each battle required fresh faith and obedience. These victories secured Israel's borders and David's reputation. The people saw that God's guidance brought true security. David's leadership was marked by humility and trust. Israel's enemies were defeated not by might, but by God's direction. The kingdom was firmly established through faithfulness. David's story is more than history, it's a foreshadowing of a greater king to come. Like David, Jesus was God's chosen and anointed, leading not by force but by obedience. David's habit of seeking God's will points to Jesus, who said, "I have come not to do my will, but the will of him who sent me." David delivered Israel from physical enemies. Jesus delivers from sin and death. David's victories brought peace to Israel. Jesus' victory brings eternal peace to all who believe. David's fame spread by God's hand. Jesus' name, Christians believe, will one day be known by all. The story of David is a preview of the perfect king, one who saves, leads, and obeys God completely. Through David, we glimpse the hope of a kingdom built on faith and obedience. The promise of God's salvation echoes from David's reign to the coming of Christ. The legacy of David points forward to the ultimate victory found in Jesus. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.